I'm fat, and I don't just mean that I feel fat, I actually really am fat. Fat's not a feeling, diets don't work, cookies aren't bad unless you're a really bad baker. Fat people aren't failing at life, and we definitely know we're all fat, so you do not need to tell us. I'm gonna use the F word a lot in my presentation, and it's probably gonna make some of you uncomfortable, and you're just gonna have to deal with that. The version of body positivity that features these thin white women in their expensive-ass yoga pants, sucking their guts in for the perfect selfie, it was never meant to be about your celebrating your Transformation Tuesday posts or getting praise for your abs. It used to be about loving your flab. Thanks to the hot mess that is late-stage capitalism, we have ads like these encouraging women to love their curves, being used as a way to sell skin-firming cream, tested on real-life fat people. Or using these incredibly slim young ladies, who I'm pretty sure no one would actually call curvy. So promoting self-love might be a great way to sell underpants and cereal, but society still actually hates fat people, even though most people in America are classified as overweight. Our fat foremothers and forefathers started the fight to end fat stigma and to make things a little easier for the fats who came after, but it's nowhere close to over. The movement is still way too thin, white, cis, and middle class. What we've got right now grew out of the 1960s New York Fat In by radio announcer Steve Post. That's the start of our movement. It's our fatception. After this, fat acceptance orgs followed, and we're starting to finally see people in media who are fat and not comic relief. If you don't believe that we're forced to navigate a world that's designed for our discomfort, just take a look at the seats you're sitting in. I literally barely fit in some of these seats. I had to tell my friends that I really wanted them to come support me, but that you gotta know this has the bad seats. So we started working out like where we could actually sit, which is right here. So as you're looking at me, I'm sure that you're making judgments about my body, but I'm not sure how I read to you. Am I like, oh, she looks pretty good for a big girl, or do you think that I'm just gonna get off the stage and start shoving fistfuls of cookies in my mouth? I might. So maybe it's the way that I carry my fat, or the fact that I'm pretty tall, or that I've made just enough intimidating Halloween costumes that folks know not to mess with me, but I don't get a lot of in-person confrontation about my body. So that just translates into getting a lot of people telling me about what they are not eating right now. So here are some recent memories of absolutely unasked for information about what people I know are not putting in their mouths. Someone reminds me that they don't need to be added to a lunch order because they're on a special diet. They show up to that meeting and they eat jicama with artificial caramel flavoring sprinkled on it. And they let me know that this is actually really good. It's not. They're not eating caramel flavoring on apple slices because they're not allowed to eat fruit yet. At a gathering, women are carefully perusing the ingredients on single-serve bags of chips and pretzel thins, and one woman assures the other that the pretzel thins are the right choice. It says thin right there. At the end of the meeting, there's leftover snacks, so I grab a bag of chips, and another woman picks up a box of tiny cookies. She looks at a bag of trail mix and then looks at me and says, "We're gonna leave that healthy stuff, right?" Ugh. This obsession with thinness and dieting and so-called health has made folks into these moral absolutists and nutrition experts, and it also makes them really tiresome to be around. And to get serious, it also causes people to have a lot of frickin' eating disorders. We've given food so much power that a cupcake is now bad, a salad is now good. Yogurt, the ultimate food for any woman, is only a treat if it is not a full-fat yogurt. If you eat a full-fat yogurt, or if you just eat enough to like kind of feel full or sated, you better tell everybody that you have failed and you promise to go back to starving yourself soon. So while I don't get harassed a lot in person, there is the internet. When I started my Instagram, I made it public, which was a pretty bad choice. And it's given this platform for a lot of concerned people to say things like, stop like dancing and start dieting. And to let me know that deep down, I really want to be hot, but I can't because I'm so lazy. These comments are always on posts like this where I am ostensibly exercising. Really, I'm just having fun. I've kept my profile public so I can increase visibility for other fatties. I am a lifelong fat, as you can see from that beautiful basketball of a baby. Growing up, my weight was of great concern to my parents. I was tested to make sure there was no medical issue making me have to shop in the pretty and plump section. My mom could destroy a pint of ice cream and remain thin, so there's got to be something wrong with me if I'm drinking Slim Fast shakes and I'm still fat. Turns out I come by it honestly. So I was put on a variety of diets, sent to Jazzercise, where I was the youngest person by several decades. And then my loving parents put me on notoriously awful weight loss drug Fen-Phen. If anything, I ended up fatter despite or because of these well-meaning interventions. My journey towards loving myself has been greatly helped by finding a local community of rad fats, right here, who are into body positivity, justice, dancing, existing without shame as normal humans. The kittens represent friendship. So we're into this crazy notion that all bodies deserve respect, but the focus really needs to be on bodies who are in the margins. Super fat. That's not me, by the way. I'm not super fat. I'm a medium fat. Disabled people, gender outlaws, people of color, and all of the bodies where those things cross. So whether you call it positivity, liberation, radical self-love, or even if you don't feel comfortable claiming it fully, I want you to start a revolution and stop hating your body. You can take a tiny step and start by recognizing negative self-talk and noticing the ways that diet culture has made you scrutinize every single piece of food you eat. So if you want to talk more about loving your body or where you can find some more resources or want to talk about cats, hit me up.